As the MonsterVerse continues or concludes with their fourth film, Godzilla vs. Kong, I thought, you know what? To look back at the original King Kong and Godzilla and their original crossover together. So let's get right into the first King Kong from 1933. So I will sadly admit I have not reviewed that many classical films on here. I mean, I have talked about Gone with the Wind on here before. I've talked about some old movies before, but I haven't seen that. I haven't watched a lot of classic stuff. I've seen some, I've seen a lot of the Universal monster movies. I've seen a lot of James Bond. Definitely seen Wizard of Oz. I feel like I should just let people know that I have seen some good classical films. But anyway, going into King Kong, which is another one of those classic films that I have rewatched a lot. This movie is freaking brilliant. This is such a groundbreaking film with its just amazing stop motion and everything, all its techniques. Like King Kong is just a brilliant effect, and it was such revolutionary at the time, and when silent films were kind of ending, and the age of sound films were becoming, and this is one of the earliest sound films, and it really feels like it really kicked off a new era of effects and almost a new genre of film. And another thing is just how everything is according to detail. Like in this train scene, you can see some little stop motion people trying to get out of the train. And with this being a movie from the 30s, there are some racial stereotypes that don't really age. It is sad that how the movie was not nominated for Best Picture or Best Special Effects during the 1934 Academy Awards, because this movie really deserved Best Picture and Best Visual Effects Award, because the movie is just so magnificent. And yeah, it's such a great film to look at. Now I will admit, first act is a little wonky. It does feel a little slow. People say it's very fast paced, but I think it's a little slow. I think most of the characters, outside of Ann Darrow, Carl Denham, Jack, and Englehorn, they're kind of just boring and stereotypes, but it's still a great film anyway. Just it's such a magnificent film again. All these great techniques that they made, and it's such a great achievement of film that has a legacy and it's lasts till this day. So let's move on to Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Yes, I watched the English American cut of the film.
King of the Monsters, alive, surging up.
So yeah, I have not seen the Japanese original version of the film, but if you do think it's superior, just let me know in the comments below. So what do I think about Godzilla? Finally watching the original film, it's a good film. It's very good. Again, I'm not seeing the Japanese version. I'm sorry, but so yeah, I saw the Steve Martin version. And no, the comedian Steve Martin is not in this movie. It was basically actor Raymond Burr from, you might know from Rear Window as the murderer. He plays a reporter called Steve Martin, and when they did Godzilla 1985, which was another American cut of Godzilla Returns, they called him Mr. Martin since Steve Martin became a big star already with movies like The Jerks and The Three Amigos.
A prehistoric monster the Japanese call Godzilla has just walked out of Tokyo Bay. He's as tall as a 30-story building. Now he's making his way toward the city's main line of defense. 300,000 volts of electricity strung around the city is a barrier. A barrier against Godzilla.
But in this American cut, there are a lot of times where Steve Martin is just standing around and he's like talking to body doubles a lot, and it can be somewhat distracting. How like you could tell they're trying not to get everything confusing with the Japanese cut, since they try to make all those scenes with Steve Martin to imitate the original film, so to not make everything look weird and lagging. But so the original Godzilla is still very good. It's still definitely threatening. Godzilla still is scary. This even was like one of the first like movies for Americans where we saw Japanese actors in like sort of heroic roles. So I guess you can give them credit for that. But I think the thing that holds me back is that it doesn't have the fun of Godzilla. And I kind of prefer Godzilla as more when he's just fighting a bunch of monsters. And no disrespect to this film, I know how powerful it is to Japan and how it was to Japan back then. But it is very Godzilla to me is just fun when he's fighting other monsters. That's just my preference, what I like to see him do. But this still is a very fun film, and and it definitely started out a very fun, and it's just always fun seeing guys in costumes just walking around, destroying buildings and fighting other monsters. It's just all fun stuff. And that's why King Kong vs. Godzilla, which we're going to talk right next, is really what I like out of like a Godzilla movie. King Kong vs. Godzilla, this is where, like, the popcorn movie really begins. And no, not counting Plan 9 from Outer Space, which came out before, that was, like, the first So Bad It's Good movie. This movie is just a downright popcorn movie. The movie that you just turn off your brain and you just have a good time watching it. And that's just King Kong vs. Godzilla. I love this movie. I rewatch this movie a lot. It's just a dumb monster movie with just this like where an ape and this mutated dinosaur creature just fight on Mount Fuji. And the characters are just these kind of like one note action guys. It's just such a dumb movie, but it's so fun. If you think Godzilla films, sometimes Godzilla isn't always in it as much, but he really is in it. Like, he's definitely, both him and King Kong get a good amount of screen time that's equally fun. And it really does feel like the build-up. You never feel like you're disappointed. Because you feel like you're anticipating them to fight. And it's just done perfectly. How it's all set up. It's such just a dumb, their fight is hilarious. So to start off this fight, there is this weird stop motion kick that's pretty awesome. So then Godzilla tries to bury Kong, and then Kong gets struck by lightning. And originally this was going to be Frankenstein versus Kong. That's a whole nother story. And then Kong takes Godzilla's tail, and then he swings him around. So then Kong falls down, picks up a tree, and then shoves that tree down Godzilla's mouth. I mean, dude. And then there's this part where it looks like they look like toys. It's just, you don't get this stuff today, guys. This rarely happens. We'll never ever see something like this again. The funniest part about this movie is probably in the first fight scene that they have. Like, towards the end, he does, like, King Kong does, like, the funny, like, probably this is the funniest King Kong moment ever. I love how he just walks off the fight that he just lost. Because, like, he had his stomach on fire, and he's like, ugh, whatever. That's a part that I think is really great, is that King Kong in this movie feels like the original King Kong, where he was just an animal. He didn't really, and like how they try to give him more emotions in the remakes, make him more feel human. But Kong is an animal. He is confused, and like in this film, and like when he's up against Godzilla, it feels kind of like you feel like you're watching these two animals in real life just fighting off each other. It's pretty great. Just how Kong is actually a good character. And, yes, the costume does look like roadkill a bit. Like, it's just funny just seeing him with, like, with all the string that's set up, that's set up in the beginning, where, like, the main character's boyfriend is making up this strong piece of wire. And then, at the end, Kong's, it's, like, attached to the wire, like, by these balloons. It's kind of funny, and then, like, you see his face, and he's like... it's just the costume. Oh man, I love this movie.
Look, Kong's waking.
But all around, King Kong versus Godzilla, it's just a fantastic, fun, guilty pleasure watch. And so with this new King Kong versus Godzilla movie coming out, I definitely have been thinking if it won't hold up to the fun of this film. But from the trailer, we'll see how that all turns out. So, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. This is definitely this is something I've always liked to talk about before on kaiju matches, because I do actually like, this stuff is actually enjoyable for me. And it's very fun to kind of talk about them, and... kind of excited to see how this new King Kong vs. Godzilla film is going to turn out. So, thank you very much. Subscribe, and tell me your favorite King Kong or Godzilla movie. And I'll see you next time. Bye.